Ah! Ah!
Hello gamers! Welcome to my presentation. I thought this would be a fun stream to whip out the Ryuki cosplay for the first time. Still haven't finished styling the wig. However, I don't care. I made this presentation a while ago, and I presented it to my friends. However, I thought it'd be fun to have it somewhere on the internet. Without further ado, characters that would be LGBT if the writers weren't fucking cowards, and assigning them their gender, sexuality, and pronouns with my former GSA officer abilities. Disclaimer. Every character is a little different and have dramatically different amounts of queer coding, even if it's not intended for some of them. Some characters here are just built to be gay and are only here because the writers didn't go all the way to directly state their sexuality. Often these creators of these shows and games do want to include queer characters, but don't commit to it out of fear of losing funding or getting backlash, or usually throw some bits of lore to throw them off. Even the most blatantly queer characters in here can be argued against, and since we live in a society, they are. I've personally seen arguments against every single character in this presentation, regardless of regarding their sexualities, because people just want characters they like to be straight. That being said, I'm right about all of these. You as the viewer are not allowed to disagree with me. You are allowed to disagree with me. However, don't bring it into my Twitch chat. Quick and important tangent before we get into it. Compulsory heterosexuality. Basically, it's this idea that talks about how people are trained to be straight and cis-het, and the lasting effects that standard has on queer and trans people and how they interact with others and interpret their experiences. I do have a little clicker for this. A lot of times in this presentation, when this comes up, I'm going to be talking about women presenting people that are attracted to women. And so me talking about this and giving examples includes specifically lesbians. However, the concept of compulsory heterosexuality is not exclusive to lesbians. Before a lesbian has their proper awakening, they typically experience compet and very commonly misinterpret any feelings towards a man as attraction because society told them that women, or anyone that is not spawned in as a man, are spawned in for the purpose of pleasing a man. Because of this idea of needing to be with a man is so standardized, it's often difficult to differentiate what people actually want versus what they've been taught to think they want. A common woman-loving woman experience is simply selecting a man they think they can tolerate a relationship with, although having no romantic attraction to said man. Another common woman-loving experience is attaching themselves to the idea of a man that is not obtainable to them, typically a celebrity or fictional character. It's an easy way to fit into the status quo while also not having to deal directly with relationships with men. It's been a while since I've looked at this slideshow, so I will stumble a little bit. Persona 4. I have separated all of these characters by game. There are spoilers for Persona 4, not Persona 5, but Persona 5 is in here. There are spoilers for the entire Danganronpa series. That's all that I can think of that's in here. But we're going to start with Persona 4. So Kanji Tatsumi. This character I've been seeing a lot of recent Twitter arguments about, and I do have some comments I'd like to throw in that I have obtained since making this presentation, because I did make this a couple months ago. So there are points I would like to bring up afterwards, but I will get through what I've brought up first. Literally, his entire shadow self is about being gay and afraid to be effeminate in any way. I will elaborate on this. Forces himself to be overly masculine and aggressive as a way to feel in control of his sexuality. The only reason he's not technically canonically gay is because he has a crush on Naoto. That's the only argument against it, and it was before Kanji knew that Naoto was assigned female at birth as well. Like, straight up had a crush on a person that he perceived as a dude. Final diagnosis, he, him, gay, cis, does drag. The point I would like to bring up is that I've seen a lot of people arguing that his shadow self isn't about him being gay, and it's not about his sexuality. It's about the way he presents himself and the way that he is just as a person, because his shadow self is about him being afraid to be anything but masculine. And while that is a good point, and I do agree with that, I don't think that it means that he's straight. Because his shadow self and his personal struggles are about, you know, his masculinity, and that is valid. However, I don't think he's gay because he's feminine. I think he's gay because he's attracted to men. I have prepared a video. This is the introduction cutscene to Kanji's shadow. The shadow is a physical representation of whatever shit someone has repressed about themselves. The shadow self becomes stronger when the normal self rejects it. Kanji's shadow is notoriously known for being one of the most difficult battles in the entire game. Put my little intro for you. Oh, I am covering the captions. I am so sorry. Basically, Kanji fights his shadow. He's the one that does the final blow. And the whole time they're just talking about how Kanji just wants to be accepted, because he feels kind of, his whole life he's just been kind of outcast from everyone and everything. And so his shadow isn't about him being attracted to men. It's about his struggle to uphold this image of being like this super masculine guy, because he's not. And he is fucking buff as hell, but like, he likes doing, you know, arts and crafts, and he likes sewing, and he likes doing a bunch of wacky stuff. Not wacky, but he likes to do things that are typically seen as feminine. And so I do agree with the Twitter users that that isn't the point of his shadow, and that the point of his shadow is to show this kind of femininity in him. However, I think he's gay because he has a crush on a guy. I have another video. We honestly don't have to watch it. It was just someone else making a compilation of moments that are like, this guy isn't straight. Naoto Shirogane. Just a trans man. Naoto is a trans man. This is about as close to canon as possible, except at the very last second they were like, oh, this character is just kind of coping, you know? They're just coping. God forbid we have a canonically trans or queer character in our 2008 anime/game. Final diagnosis: he, they, queer, trans man. I have some stuff about Naoto's shadow, and also their persona, like what it turns into. Kanji is immediately understanding of the situation. Like when everyone is encountering Naoto's shadow for the first time, everyone's like, what is this? And Naoto's just like, nah, man, bro's gotta face this. We did this too. And then they talk about stuff that's relating to the plot. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, where am I? Hold on. Anyway, I do understand some arguments against this character in particular being trans. I think I could also see them as non-binary. And the conclusion to that cutscene, I do think it kind of makes sense, but also I feel like there's a lot of just backlore that would support this character being trans. I feel like generally, for what it is, and like I guess I get it, but like it could have been more, you know? I guess that's what I'm trying to argue for these slides. Okay, Yosuke Hanamura. Look me in the eyes and tell me that this is not the most bisexual man you've ever seen in your life. Fun fact, Yosuke was originally written to be a romanceable character in Persona 4 Golden, but he was reverse yassified at the last minute. So late in development that his English voice lines for his final social link cutscene are still in the game's files. They just replaced it, so him and the protagonist just kind of wrestle and beat each other up. And then they're like, man, we're besties. He calls the protagonist you partner constantly, enough to the point where other characters are like, so, you guys are partners? Does not shut up about Kanji's sexuality ever. Like, he brings it up months after everything happens. And he's like, well, since you're, like, gay, does that mean you kiss boys? Final diagnosis, he, they, bisexual with mask preference, would experiment with gender if he cared, but he doesn't. And then I have another cutscene with Yosuke and Kanji. This is outside of Persona 4 Golden. However, I just like this video.
Kanji?
Hello.
Got a feeling you'd probably be mine. I'll help you set a few things straight. Think hard, okay? Have you ever been attracted to a girl?
What the hell's all this about?
I only asked if there's any girl you like. Why get all flustered over that? Or do you not have an answer, Kanji-kun?
Of course I don't. I don't need that shit in my life.
Huh? You don't need? That means...
Wait, how do we get on this subject again?
I guess it's decided then?
Girlie's blushing.
That's what's been decided. I've had enough of your bullshit, damn it! Sit down! This'll hurt!
Anyway, here's every other main Persona 4 character. Speedrun. Mary's pan, Yukiko is bi, Chie is a lesbian, Rise is homophobic, but also ace. Teddy is pan, but also homophobic. Rise Fujikawa continued, is just genuinely bewildered when Kanji, a gay man, shows no sign of being attracted to women, specifically her. I think she's homophobic, but probably kisses women when she's drunk and then goes through denials. She's going to grab my neck and snap it like a glue stick. I also think she's ace, but it's funnier to lead with the homophobia. Kuo and Daisuke, putting them on a shared slide because they also share a social link. Like, you can't befriend one without the other. Like, they are a package deal. I think girls suck. I'm out of here. Anyway, Danganronpa. I don't know how they did it, but they put blatant queer subtext for every single character, all while being homophobic. I'm not joking. Something fell. Chihiro Fujisaki. Let's talk about Chihiro Fujisaki first. Because there's lore. Spoilers for Chapter 2 of Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. Spike Chunsoft did not research when making Trigger Happy Havoc. They just didn't. Chihiro and Toko are prime examples of this. This character was stealthing as a girl up until their death. Once they are outed after dying, everyone immediately swaps pronouns. Simply unrealistic either way. I came out 4 to 5 years ago and my dad still misgenders me. Explain that, liberals. Their gender is almost always brought up when Chihiro is mentioned. This is exceptionally cringe as Chihiro made this great program called Alter Ego, which is extremely useful to the entire Danganronpa plotline, the whole franchise, not just Tripper Happy Havoc. Chihiro is referred to as a trap several times in the subbed anime, although it's not nearly as intense in any other adaptation of Tripper Happy Havoc. Like in the game, it's not like that. In the dubbed anime, it's not like that. Manga, it's not like that. It's just the subbed anime. Chihiro Fujisaki. My instinct is to say that this character is trans femme just based on the way they presented before their death, but upon discussing with the Danganronpa specific LGBT council, I now think that it would be much more fitting for this character to actually be trans masculine. This is because Chihiro started presenting as femme basically as a way to cope with harassment for not being perceived as manly enough. Chihiro does, however, show desire to want to become stronger and actively trains with more athletic classmates in private. This, however, does not make me any less mad about the game referring to this character as he, him, and a man just based on what is actually within the game's content. I will continue to use they, them for this character because of this. Final diagnosis, he, they, ace, transmasculine. Toko Fukawa. Oh boy. Remember that time I talked about compound and specifically about queer women fixating on the idea of being with a man that are objectively unobtainable to them? Yeah, I remember that. Ace wasn't there for that, but I remember that. Toko is well aware that Byakuya will never show any form of attraction to her, and so clings to the idea of being with him. Interesting how an alter formed from her most repeated traumas kills traditionally attractive men exclusively. Constantly on guard around men and isolates herself as a way of self-preservation. Okay, Now we're going to talk about Toku, specifically from Ultra Despair Girls, the spin-off game featuring Kumaru Naegi, which is Makoto's sister, takes place after the events of Trigger Happy Havoc. Insists on sleeping with Kumaru. Consistently and canonically. Toku gave up her original plans to exchange Kumaru in the city for Byakuya to let Kumaru to choose what she wants to do. Toko literally chose Kumaru over Byakuya at the end when she chooses to stay in the city rather than returning to Future Foundation. Also worth mentioning how all of Toko's fantasies of Byakuya are highly exaggerated and unrealistic, which can be another example of compet. Final diagnosis, she/her, uses Neos but exclusively online, doesn't label herself, and is like, well, I like girls too, and panics whenever it comes up in conversation. These are some voice chat logs. Kumaru being like, also, I want to go on a picnic with you. A picnic? A virgin date of choice? It's just that I haven't really seen a nice blue sky lately. So when I get out of this place, I want to go on a picnic with you. Well, if I don't have any engagement ceremonies with Master Plan that day, I'll think about it. Oh yeah, she calls Byakuya Master. It's really weird. No one likes it. And you said you'd go. This is just them confirming that they sleep in the same bed. When they don't have to. Anyway, here's a video.
That hurts. What? You hit me! My hand hurts. But that's not the only thing that hurts. This is the first time I've ever slapped someone in the face. See what you've made me do? Now come on, hit me back. Why? Isn't it obvious? It makes us even. I've never had a friend, so I don't know what to do in situations like this. So just, for now, if you hit me, we're square, right? So, hit me. Fine.
Smack him!
Strong. Jeez. You're right. You're right. My hand hurts. That's not the only thing that hurts. Yeah. We're the same. If you can't do something on your own, all I have to do is help you. If I can't do something on my own, all you have to do is help me. Helping each other. That's the advantage of working together, right? Yeah. And just so you know, I won't comfort you or pity you. I'm not good at that stuff. And we still don't know if those were really your parents.
She says that immediately after comforting her
That
and pitying her.
doesn't make sense. Focus on what's happening now. What do you want to do right now? Have you decided?
Yeah, I have. I want to protect both. I'm not gonna play her sick little game. I'm going to save the adults and the children.
Greedy girl. Can't say I don't approve.
Toko, will you help me?
Isn't it obvious? It's normal for friends to help each other. Kumaru and I are not alone. As long as there are friends who help each other, there's no need to despair at all. I found it. I finally found hope. A hope to call my own. Right, Kumaru? Yeah, me too!
Unedited gameplay footage.
Hope lives on!
I just thought the voice lines were funny. Okay. So now we have Mahiru Koizumi. So Mahiru, hardcore lesbian, photographer, literally has a girlfriend. There's not a single straight thing about her, other than like maybe her hair. She, her lesbian. Ibuki has the most canonical implications of being queer out of any of the characters, other than like the gay guy from DR3. No straight person looks like that. Ultimate musician. She, they, bisexual with femme preference. I don't know if I can show this on screen. Anyway, this is her just going a wooga over women. Fuyuhiko Kuzuria. This one's less universal. Pushes people away and doesn't talk to anyone ever. Hates being seen as soft-hearted and so acts overly tough and aggressive to make up for it. Seen by his family as weak and is thus given Peko as a bodyguard. Has a history of being constantly compared to his sister. He, him, treads mask. Rentaro Mami. It's frequently misinterpreted as flirting and is always like, oh no, haha, I'm not like that. His love suite event is just him being a good older brother with no sexual implications in the slightest. I've never seen a trans masked person that looks like that. That doesn't look like that. We all look like that. Source trans guy with green hair. I'm wearing a wig. He has like 12 sisters and is very protective of them, has fun painting people's nails, wears a lot of jewelry. He, they, trans mask, aromantic. Kaede Akamatsu. 2 seconds into the game, she calls like 4 different girls cute, hot, or sexy. She has 2 dudes that she hangs out with in a way that can be implied as romantic, and they are the 2 most effeminate dudes in the whole game. Probably doesn't label herself sexually, but is a lover of women and femininity. Keeps her nails short for playing piano. She, her lesbian queer, probably has several Sappho poems memorized. Kaede with the previously mentioned dudes and Sumigi. This is official art from the Danganronpa art book. Shuichi. He's just generally a bottom, even if he had a girlfriend. Every love suite event is with him. Every love suite event with him is just trying to play into the other person's fantasy and make them feel good. This can be easily written off as a choice to make it more simple for the player, but also just fits into Shuichi's general character of always putting others first and just generally being really fly and flustered. He's got something going on with Kaito, I just know it. See previous slide. Look at that. Cool with any pronouns, bisexual. Maki becomes an assassin and endured severe trauma solely to protect a girl. Girl is the only reason. When playing house, Maki would be the dad and the girl would always be the mom. Her and the girl wore matching clothes, wrote each other notes, got in trouble all the time because they would stay up late talking. Girl cared deeply about the orphanage that they were from, and so Maki did everything she could to protect the orphanage. Playing V3 as Kaede, Maki is very quick to connect to Kaede, whereas if you play as Shuichi, you can't even talk to her directly for like 2 whole chapters. And there is plot reasons for that, but also it's just, okay, she, her, bisexual. Here's every other character in Danganronpa. Persona 5. I've played like 2 hours of Persona 5, what is it? The one they put on Switch. Or Strikers. It was Persona 5 Strikers. I played like 2 hours of Persona 5 Strikers and read the first 6 volumes of the manga, so I'm definitely qualified to properly diagnose these characters. Anyway, these are just my instinctual guesses with hints of lore to back it up. The Joker. Trans mask vibes. I can also see queerness in his future. He, they, but might not mind any pronouns. Ryuji. He's just bisexual. Look at him. Look at his pants. This is the queerest strip I've ever seen in my life. Dez from Austin and Alley type beat. He's just the Yosuke of Persona 5, TBH. Fun fact, I was Googling his name to find pics for this slideshow, and I found an article saying the voice actor for the guy confirmed he's probably bisexual. Cinematic parallels. And Takamaki. Lesbian or bi with heavy femme preference. I can see her being one of those people that constantly teeter between identifying as a lesbian and bi solely because they see a pretty dude and be like, well, maybe, no, but what? Just generally tired of being hypersexualized by men, can't blame her. She, they, maybe trans femme. Yusuke. Oh my god, is that Naoto Shirogane? Gay. They, he could also see using neopronouns like fox, self. I'm receiving agender energy, but could also see identifying as simply non-binary. Makoto, non-binary lesbian, they, them. Futaba, biromantic asexual, probably uses neopronouns. I'm going to say they, she for this one. Haru, this is a lesbian. Hyperfemme lesbian that cannibals kick your ass. She, they. Hates them, can't blame her. Sophie, non-binary. Neopronouns. They, them primarily. Gender is what's in your pants. I am a robot. Organa. Homophobic, but also completely unaware that he's surrounded by gay people. Calls you a slur, but does not know what it means. Mystic Messenger. Jae-hee. Has a crush on Zen, who is like a big celebrity. Similar point about compulsory heterosexuality that I brought up with Toko, although with Jae-hee it happened to be that Mr. Crush was more within reason than Byakuya was. Maybe that's because Jae-hee is more concerned about work than romance and isn't a serial killer. Opens a cafe with a woman in a gay way. In normal circumstances, I'd mention her appearance since no straight woman looks like that. However, I will give her a pass this time because she only dresses like that because her boss just hates women. She, her, bisexual, or unlabeled likes women. 707. He's a crossdresser and a cosplayer, has several dead names, has a very LGBT sense of humor. The way his messages read is extremely gay. The only using all lowercase letters or all uppercase, the playful and dramatic touch in his tone, the overusage of stickers and emojis. He talks like every single gay person I've ever talked to online. A straight person would not possess those glasses, especially a man that has to be anonymous and like actively do everything he can to not physically exist. He, they, but doesn't really mind any pronouns. Bisexual. When 707 is trolling someone, Jae-hee is often the straight man in the conversation. Yusa. Homie is trans. Maybe non-binary. Wears mostly hoodies and baggy shirts, dyes his hair, wears hair clips. Just look at him. This is not a cisgendered gamer. They, he, mask presenting, not binary. And the Somnium Files. Whole series. Right. This is a coming out post. I don't think I put any text in this, because I honestly forgot I put this in here. Miscellaneous. Gladiant. Pokemon. This dude's design is filled to the brim with gender. Every trans mask wears a hoodie 24/7 and wants to look evil. This is a fact. The tactically torn clothing, the side shade with choppy long bangs that cover half of his face, the emo thoughty eyeliner, the fanny pack, the mommy issues. Transgender. He's gay because I want him to be. They, he, it. Trans mask. I believe that's all I have because the other ones I don't think I can show on screen. You guys want to see my gender board? I think it's pretty funny. Oh, he just like me for real. I don't think I put any fun transitions in this. Rentaro mommy. He embraces femininity and doesn't fit into standard definitions of masculinity, but is still very much masculine in his own way. He exists on his own terms and can fend for himself, but is very kind and caring for others. I like him a normal amount. Gladion, Pokemon, Sun and Moon, / Ultimate Sun, Ultimate Moon. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Oh my god. I like Danganronpa too much. He is so edgy and emo, and I love him for this. Has an evil mother who neglected him and his sister, fights for what's right, even if it means going against his family directly. Loves his team to fucked up Pokemon. Heart of Gold, can't blame him for anything that's ever happened. Kite Kid Omori. No one knows a single thing about this guy other than what he chooses to show. He is blue and he has a kite and it's a little bat, and that's all you need to know. I don't even know if this character is a guy. He's just doing his own thing, and I have nothing but respect and envy for him. Man's exists in his own realm of vibes. God, I wish that were me. KK, Cakes, Deltarune. He's just a silly little speaker guy. Shape ever. He is so stupid, and I love this about him. He just likes to make music with his buddies. His name is Cakes, but goes by KK for short, which is not only more syllables, but also more inconvenient to type. No thoughts, head empty. Jennu from World's End Club, elegant and epic, caretaker of rest of squad, respects women, funky drip, funky colors, tremendous drip. He's everywhere, man. They crammed so much mental illness into this dude. Gay, homosexual, gay. I know what you are. Often described as a pathetic, sopping wet cat of a man. Good guy in a bad situation. Protects those he cares about. Down horrendous for some guy. Like, took a bullet for the guy in every sense, including physical. The guy is presumed straight too. He's a little fruity, I think, personally. But, like, canonically only thinks about boobs and breasts. Extremely intelligent, but also so silly in the brain. Overworks himself and drives himself insane just a little bit, just a smidge. Frog Detective from Frog Detective. He is so silly. And from Pokemon Black and White, I don't remember a single thing about this dude, I just like his hair. I don't like his shoes, though. What are those? In some art, he has green eyes, and some he has blue, and I think that's very relatable to me specifically. I don't know a thing about this guy or this show, but he's just like me. Hair. I like his expressions as well. Very masculine, but a tad emo and a teeny bit goofy. Love a man with a piercing. I like his facial structure. Anime isn't the easiest medium to showcase a character's face in a three-dimensional form, but I think this character has a very distinct face shape, and specifically, I like his chin and nose. Emo guy Wojak. I don't want to talk about it. Naoto Shirogane. Transgender. I feel personally offended when I see fan art of this character, but they give Naoto the fattest, milkiest, hunger, you know. Captain Spaceboy Omori will get divorced, bozo. Canonically trans. Leader of his squad of space bozos. I don't remember what his actual group is called, so I called them the Space Bozos. His space bozos and him genuinely care for each other and pick each other up when needed, and I think that is very cool of them. Also, he is blue. Gigi the waiter from Animal Restaurant, he is very polite. Your Honor, he's very polite. Sam from Stardew Valley, specifically, I like smaller sprites of him. Hair, he's a gold older brother. I think I like him as a person more than I want to be him, but I wanted to put him here regardless. The original Starwalker. Pochi World's End Club. Good character, nice hair. Specifically, I like his wavier hair, which is in like the top right corner. Has good character growth, protects people he cares about, even if they reject him a little bit, a smidge, a wee bit. His eyes look like a mogi. Germ, from Night in the Woods. He's literally just chilling at the structure. Maybe he isn't visibly a gender, but I relate to his character muchly, enough to the point where I thought to include him in this, at least. Things I learned. My ideal form is not within the physical realm. Green. Thank you for joining me on this slideshow presentation stream. If I make more presentations, maybe I will present them, but maybe I won't. Have a lovely day, and thank you for pulling up. Looking for a game to capture.